What's up, gang? We're back in the gym today. We're going to hit a workout. And what we're going to focus on mostly today is tuning up the intensity. We're going to start going away from a lot of volume training. And by volume, I mean 3 to 5 sets of however many reps. Because the truth is, you can get away with just doing one good, hard working set. If the intensity is high enough, you will get just as, if not better results than doing all the volume training that we've all been told over the years that we need to do. Someone like me who grew up reading the muscle fitness magazines, or watching some of your favorite stars, professional bodybuilders, a lot of them will say, yes, I'm doing 4 to 6 sets of set exercise. But what they aren't telling you is the amount of hormones that they are doing to help fuel that type of a workout. It has been proven by natural athletes, myself included, that by doing one good, hard, intense set, you will get the same, or if not better results than what you would get if you were doing volume training. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna show you how, when you're working out on your own, how you want to tune up the intensity and make that one set have more stimulation in your growth potential than doing 3 or 5 sets of an exercise where you're maybe bringing yourself to 50, 60, 70%. We're going to do one hard, intense set to your 100% and then further, because what we're going to do is start adding some regressions to the exercise. These are the secrets to make your body change and how to build and develop muscle naturally. We're going to get into a little bit of a warm-up, and by warm-up, I mean whenever you read or if you hear me say do 3 sets, those first 2 sets are on-ramp sets. Those are warm-ups. You're coming into the gym cold, you need to do something to prime. It's like driving onto the highway. You don't just go right from 0 to 60. There's that on-ramp. So we create an on-ramp. We do 2 or 3 sets, whatever it takes for us to be able to grab your working weight and have it not feel like it weighs 1,000 pounds. I'm sure all of you can attest, whenever we've done 2 or 3 sets and we've increased the weight, by the time we give you that last weight, it doesn't feel as overwhelming and as hard as if I was to give it to you fresh when you weren't warmed up. We don't need to do a lot of volume training. What we need is high intensity training. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that today. All right, guys, so we're back. We're hitting the shoulders. First exercise is going to be a single arm overhead press. Now, like we said, those first couple of sets are just on-ramp sets. I know that I'd like to fail out somewhere between the 6 to 10 rep range. So for me, that's going to be around 40 to 45 pounds. Today, I'll probably push it, try 45 because I've already talked shit on this film. Why not? But in order to on-ramp myself, I'm not going to just grab the 45. I already did a set with the 20 where I just nice and easily went through the motion, went up to about 8 to 10, put the weight down. I grabbed a 30. I did the same thing. I'm primed. I'm ready to go. Now I need one working set. Again, 6 to 10 on one side. So with our single arm shoulder press, we're going to hold the dumbbell here at our shoulder with our other hand near our opposite collar, and we're going to press, and as we do so, we're going to keep our eyes on the dumbbell, and we're going to reach up to the ceiling as we're doing so, and we're turning and using a bit of core. I've got my free hand here just in case as this gets heavy, 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, I'm here to catch it and dump it without hitting myself in the head, okay? So we're going to do our working set, and the way that we're going to start adding those regressions is for this exercise by adding a push to it with my legs, using a little bit of push. So I'm going to just be strict at first. Once I start failing out at the strict, I go into my push press to use a little bit of momentum to help break past that failure point. This is where you're going to start seeing the difference in the intensity of your workouts and why you're not going to need so much volume. We're holding the weight at my shoulder. My opposite hand is across my chest, getting ready to prepare myself if I need to dump the weight. From here, I'm doing my diaphragm breath at the bottom, and I'm reaching and looking up to the ceiling with as I'm pushing my dumbbell. After I lock out my elbow, my index finger is high. I'm keeping my eye on it and watching it as I bring my elbow back down in front of me, back to my starting position to reset my core. That's one. Now this is sped up, but this is me completing the set. And once I reach around the 8 to 9 rep range, the strict press becomes a bit too difficult, so I start adding in my legs with a bit of a push press until I can't anymore. See, and I'm ready to catch and dump the weight if I have to. So I failed out around the 11 to 12 rep range. My goal was to get to about 10. Now I know I did that with 45 pounds. I know next week or next shoulder workout, when I'm going to do this, I'm going to try the 50 pounds. I got to that high end of where I want to kind of fail out, again, that 10. And with my extra push to kind of break through and add that regression, I got even more reps. So now I know this is how I'm going to increase my weight. And as always, we train both sides for symmetry. I'm showing you this side because on this side, I got a few more reps than I did on my left. Who knows why? It really doesn't matter. Your body just knows that it needs to go to failure or past failure. So I went past failure and got a few extra reps. That's our one set of the overhead shoulder presses, and you see how we added that regression to help push through a bit of failure and help stimulate that growth. These are the reps that count. These ones when you're tired, these ones where you need a little bit extra push, that you can get that assistance from a trainer, and when you don't have a trainer, this is how you become the trainer for yourself, by pushing yourself just a little bit further. So the second exercise we're going to do are going to be lateral raise. So I need to create my on-ramps. So I know I want to get about 10 reps. I know that I usually can do this with 15, 20 pounds, 25s on a good day. I'm grabbing the 5s to start. This is my on-ramp set. This is just an on-ramp. This is just to grease the gears. I just want to get my motion and connect my mind with the muscle. My mind and my muscles are connecting. I'm thinking about scooping my hands underneath, letting my index finger lead. As if someone's pulling by my index finger and my elbow. Everything's connected. My shoulders are doing the work. My deltoids are carrying all the weight. I'm going slow down in a controlled fashion. My shoulder blades are down. My chest is up. I look like a soldier. Nice and easy. So I did about 6 to 10 off of these. Again, just a primer. You're going to know how your body feels after you get used to this. Maybe you only need one warm-up set. I'm going to be honest. I'm good. I'm ready to go. We did those overhead presses. I'm ready to go. I'm warmed up. Now I've greased the gears. I'm creating my on-ramp. I've switched gears. I know what exercise that I'm doing now, what I want to look for. My shoulders, everything feels good. My mobility that I did hit for my warm-up, I'm ready to go. Same type of rules. I want to fail out between a 6 to 10 rep range. And from there, I want to also add in the regressions that we talked about. So the way as I'm doing these, I'm going to start adding a regression to kind of get past that 6 to 10 rep range.
When we're performing our lateral raise, we want to keep our wrist open and locked out, and our elbows as well. What we're focusing on is keeping our arms long by pushing the hands down and away as you're raising. So again, from there, as you're thinking about stretching your deltoids and stretching your arms to the side of the walls, pausing at the top once you pass your shoulders, and then controlling it on the way down, not rocking back and forth or using your spine.
10. So now from here, to add my regression to get a little bit more out of it, as you can see, my elbows aren't quite as high, my forearm's starting to fade. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of a hinge at the hips, almost as if I'm starting to do my Romanian deadlift. And then on the way up, from standing from that little bit of a hip hinge, I'm adding in my raise. We call this a cheat raise, and it's no problem. Again, you want to do this when you're trying to just break past that failure point. So I'm hinging, and as I come up, I'm using a little bit of momentum to get them up, and I'm focusing on that eccentric movement on the way down. I'm focusing on going slow, controlling the weight, controlling the weight. That's the work.
So from here, by adding the cheat raise, all I'm doing is adding a small bit of momentum from the bottom or the starting position to get those hands up to the top through the concentric movement and then control it through the eccentric, the way down. Remember, you're stronger on the way down than you are on the way up. So you're fighting gravity, and that's the work. I'm not rocking at my spine.
And that's how you know. That's how you know you're done. You can dump the weights. But that's how you're going to add that little bit extra, adding that little bit of a regression to help push past failure. So from there, I think of what I got 15, 18 reps, 10 maybe strict, and another 5 to 8 on the hinge. Now I know I use the 20s. Next week, I probably need to push myself. I probably got to use those 25s. As much as they intimidate me, I probably got to do it. But that's how you're going to know how you should be progressing forward. And if you're getting all the reps like I just got, even if it's hard, you have to increase the next week. You have to. That's what this is all about, is pushing yourself a little bit further. So now we're supersetting that standing lateral raise with our bent raise so we can get a little bit more into the rear deltoid. With this one, you can still create that on-ramp. Just to show you what it looks like from the bent position, we're raising up the elbow. I'm pulling the elbow back. I'm keeping my chest back, my chin back as if I was lying on a bench. Letting my elbow lead. I'm pinching behind the rear delt. And again, I'm not powering these out with a ton of momentum and trying to just get the reps done. I'm making my reps count. I don't even care how many reps. Don't count your reps. Make your reps count. So again, just leading with the elbow. Squeeze behind your shoulder. Get used to knowing what that feels like. My shoulder blades are back. This would be like if I'm doing a chest fly lying on the bench or lying on the floor. It's the reverse of it. My elbows are coming down to the side of the bench or to the side of the floor. It's the same type of idea, but we're getting the rear delt now. My elbows are leading, and that's how we're going to be doing this exercise. So now I'm going to go into my working set. The same idea. I want to get to close about 6 to 10, and then again, I'm going to start adding a little bit of a regression and a little bit of momentum so I can get a little bit more out of it. What I'm looking for is to get up into the up motion and then let gravity be my resistance. That eccentric movement or that negative portion of the exercise tends to be a bit stronger than our concentric, the hard working part of it. That's why usually we let the weight drop and we slam and we get used to bouncing and use momentum, because it is a bit stronger and a bit easier. So that's going to be the work once I enter the progression, is to really get the weight up with momentum and then ease my way down. Just like I did when we did the lateral raise. We used a little bit of momentum to get the weight up, and then I'm focusing on that eccentric hold to get it on down, because I've already failed going through the concentric movement. So again, we're going to hit our real work with the weight. Grab some 15s here.
When you're doing your bent raise, focus on your elbows doing the traveling. So you're going to start with your palms facing in, the elbows down and in. And from there, we're strictly letting the elbows come out high and wide. From there, we're keeping our middle back nice and strong. We're not going to let it go weak like this. We're going to have a nice, strong middle back with our shoulder blades down and back in our back pocket. And again, the elbows are doing the moving and traveling, squeezing behind the rear delt.
Okay, so not getting quite as high. So very similar to what we did with the lateral. I'm just going to add a little momentum coming from the middle part of my back. So again, as if I'm coming up from a Romanian deadlift, I'm raising the elbows, squeezing.
As you go into the cheat raise, keep the hip hinge subtle. We don't need to bring our chest very high. We just need to get the elbows back to where we are in that flex position and start focusing on the slow eccentric movement.
And that completes our shoulder workout. We hit all 3 heads of the deltoid. We hit every angle. We did some pressing, we did some raises, and we tuned up the intensity. Working through failure by adding a little bit of a regression to it, to focus on the eccentric movement and having that control throughout the exercise, just to add a bit of stimulation. Again, this is what's going to help you grow as a natural athlete. This is what's going to help you keep growing and to keep your body guessing by pushing through those limits. When you don't have a trainer handy, this is how you're the trainer for yourself. Keep yourself accountable. Write down what weights you just did. Next week, do the same workout. Challenge yourself. Go a little bit heavier. But that's not an excuse for every week doing 6 sets of an exercise. You should know better. After 1 week, you write it down that you did the weight for 20 reps. The next week, there's no excuse. You know you could do 10 pounds for 20 reps. There's no excuse to repeat that exercise. So that's the importance of keeping a journal. That's the importance of adding progressions to your workouts so you're constantly growing and constantly pushing yourself past your limits.